everyone, welcome back to Oh My Yarns channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the yarn and the tools that you'll be needing to start crocheting. So over the quarantine break here in the Philippines, I've gotten a lot of questions about the different yarn sizes. People aren't very sure of what to start with, why are there so much yarn thicknesses, and it's kind of hard to explain to people who've only watched videos on YouTube and have seen the materials that are being used by the instructor. And if the instructor is from a different country, then chances are the yarn won't be available locally, or it would be harder to source or more expensive. So I've decided to create this video to be able to show you guys how to understand and substitute the yarns that you would be finding in foreign videos, and so that you'll also be able to learn about the different technicalities behind crocheting. So the basic thing that you should know is that there is a standard yarn weight system. Now when we talk about yarn weight, we aren't talking about how heavy your ball of yarn is. So for example, let's say that this is a 200-gram ball, and usually people get confused when people say that, oh, I need a lightweight yarn. So they automatically assume that a lightweight yarn is something very airy, very light, and they go for the thinnest yarn. And then when they've already purchased their materials, they realize that a 5mm hook does not go with super thin light yarn. So that is where the Craft Yarn Council yarn weight standards come in. So I'll be linking also the link to the website where you can find the yarn weight system, but in this video we are going to break it down. I'm going to show you why the yarn weight system is the reliable measure for the thickness of your yarns, and why you should not purchase yarns based on ply alone. So if you're interested to learn more, keep on watching. Alrighty, hey guys, so we're going to be talking about the different yarns right now. So first I'm going to start off with the thinnest yarn that we currently have. So we'll be talking about size 0 weight yarn. So the 0 weight yarn is a lace yarn. Usually it is a 10-count crochet thread, or it's referred to as fingering weight yarn. So this is an example of it. So this is a thin yarn. I'm just gonna lay it out one by one as I show the samples. So this is size 0. Oops, move it to the other side. This is size 0 weight yarn, and it is that size, that thinness of yarn. After that, we have super fine, or yarn weight 1. So it's slightly thicker. Here's an example. You can see that it is a little bit thicker than, it's just a little size up from the previous. And then we have yarn weight 2, which is sport or baby weight yarn. So it is this one. Then we have yarn weight 3. So this is light worsted weight yarn, or DK weight yarn as it is commonly referred to. And then we have medium weight, or medium worsted. And then we have bulky. Bulky weight yarns are super good for, bulky weight yarns are perfect for countries with colder weather, which sadly the Philippines does not have. But here is yarn weight 6. Yarn weight 5. So you can see these are the typical this is the typical range of yarn sizes that is available. So we have the thinnest to the thickest. Now when we refer to the yarn weight, it is the category thickness of each yarn. So not all sizes of yarn weight 3 or yarn weight 2 would be similar, because the category is just one part of the spectrum of sizes. So if they classify under category 0, it just means that they fall under the gauge or the finished product size that is produced by yarns in that category. So when you purchase your yarns, you will notice that there is a label, sorry, upside down. There's a label. So this is what the labels on our yarns look like. I'll zoom you guys in. So this is an old label of ours, but we do put the yarn weight. So you can usually find it in a symbol like this. Then you would see the actual weight of the ball, as well as approximately how many yards or meters that yarn is. We also include wash instructions in this form, but in our newer labels, we've already put the wash symbols, as well as the recommended tools for crochet and knitting. So to get a full chart of the recommended yarn, the recommended size of crochet hooks or knitting needles that you need for any of these yarn types, you can just go to craftyarncouncil.com. I'll leave the link in our description box below so you can find a chart of the different yarn weight sizes. Now, why is it important to rely on yarn weight rather than just buying yarn based on ply? Here, I'm going to show you. So first of all, we are going to talk about what yarn weight is, and I'll be what ply is. So I'll be using two of our chunkier yarns. These are both in yarn weight 5. So these are both bulky yarns, but they're two different materials. So this brown one over here is a chunky milk cashmere. So you can see from the video that it's a little shiny. It looks very smooth. It has a silky finish, while this one is a typical milk cotton, so it's not as shiny. It's a little matte and the texture is different. This one feels a bit heavier compared to this one. I just feel like my works tend to be heavier if I use this compared to this. Can't really explain, but that's how it is. So here in the Philippines, people usually buy yarns by the ply, and I'm going to show you close up what a ply is. So when you hold the end of your yarn like so and you unravel it, you will notice that it's made up of tinier strands. So here, let me open it for you. Whoa! So over here, this is an 8-ply milk cotton. Our cotton grande is an 8-ply. There you go. I'm trying to open this up as best I can without ruining the entire bowl of yarn. But if you can see, there are 8 little strands. I'll try to zoom you in. I don't have enough zoom, but there are 8 strands. So this is what they refer to as ply. So when they talk about ply, it's how many smaller strands make up the bigger strand of yarn that is twisted together. So this is 8-ply, right? But here in the Philippines, there's also a bunch of 8-ply yarns that are not the same as this one. So with our yarn weight 3 hand-dyed cotton, or 8-ply hand-dyed cotton, which I'll show here, this is 8-ply and this is 8-ply. Do you see the difference in the thickness? To confuse you even more, there are local yarns. These yarns are like made out of smaller threads. So at first glance, they look like they're made out of sewing thread, but this is 8-ply as well. And you can see the difference between these yarns, especially when you're working with them. Look at that difference. So the 3 of these yarns are all 8-ply yarns, but you can see the difference in the thickness. So this is a size 5 chunky, this gray one is a size 5 chunky weight, this is a DK weight, and this is a very fine size 1 waist lace weight, I think, if I'm not mistaken. This is a size 1. This is the local cotton here in the Philippines. They're called fine cotton yarns, and these are typically 8-ply. So you can see the difference between the 8-plies that are being referred to. Especially here in the Philippines, it gets tricky because when they ask for 8-ply cotton yarns, it could mean fine cotton size 1 or 8-ply hand-dyed cotton, which is very, very confusing. So that's why it's important for yarn buyers and sellers as well. If you're a seller, please take note of the yarn weight system. It helps buyers become more aware of how thick your yarn actually is. Now, here I'm going to show you a comparison of the strands between 2 yarns of the same type. So these are both size 5 weight yarn. This is our milk cotton and this is our milk cashmere, snuggle, and cotton grande. So here, I'll zoom you guys in once more. I'll just open up the ends a little bit. Zooming you in. Oops, fan. It's really hot in the Philippines, so I'm sorry for the fan noise and the noise of motorcycles passing by. We don't have a mic, so no noise cancellation here. But here, this is the milk cashmere. So the strands of this yarn are thinner than the strands used in milk cotton, because milk cotton yarn is only 8-ply, and this I think is a 16. Yes, this is a 16-ply. So you see, even in the same yarn weight category, they're both category 5, there's a difference between the plies. So if you were to buy this 8-ply yarn and you're looking for something similar and you go to a different seller and you ask them for 8-ply yarn, you're gonna be surprised when it gets to you and it's actually a 16-ply yarn, because you didn't when it gets to you and it's a different kind of 8-ply like this one, which is way thinner. So it's better if you know what yarn weight you will need for you to be able to distinguish properly what type of for you to be able to know what type of thickness you're comfortable working with, and for you to be able to substitute also more sounds, for you to be able to substitute also if you can't find the exact yarn that the tutorial comes with, or the instructor in the tutorial is using. So if usually in the comments or in the description box of tutorials, they put the yarn size that they're using as well as the hook size that they're using. So it's better for you to just ask your yarn supplier or your yarn seller what type of, if they have size blank type of yarn, so that you can easily find a substitute for foreign yarns that aren't easy to find here or are expensive here. Alrighty, so we're done talking about our yarns. I hope that you actually learned something from it. If you have any clarifications, you can reach out to me on our socials down below, link below. We'll try to get back to you as fast as possible. We also have a Viber community posted, link it below. Ideally for people living in the Philippines, so that you can access our yarns, but if you have any questions, you can reach me there as well. So after talking about our yarns, obviously, how are you going to crochet if you don't have hooks? So I get a lot of questions about crochet hooks and cheap hooks here in the Philippines, because a lot of online sellers are selling set hooks for maybe $5 or less. less than $10 for sure. It's around 250 pesos. It's around $5. And a lot of people are looking for those hooks from me, but I don't have them, and the reason is because I am a very picky crocheter. Here, I'm going to show you guys my stash. So this is just part of it. These are all my loose ones that don't come in sets. So my mom got me this Smiggle pencil case. I'm like a little kid. So I have this Smiggle pencil case. It just opens up into like a bin, and voila. Here's my hooks. So these are all just like the loose ones that don't come in big sets, that have their own cases. So I also have the tulip set in gray. I have the Clover Soft Touch, the Clover Amore, and I also have these. These are the Hamanaka ones. They come in this super cute little plastic, is it zooming in? Plastic container, plastic box. I don't know what you call it, but these are just Japanese hooks. So in my opinion, the Japanese do not get their hooks wrong. All their hooks are amazing. So a common question I get from people is, what hook do I need to start, and what type of hook grip is good for me? And honestly, I cannot answer that because that depends on you as a crocheter. But in this portion of this video, I'm going to show you guys what the different hook types are and where you can use them. So there are basically two hook types, and I will show them to you. So you have ones that are just the plain steel ones, or aluminum. This is aluminum, and this one is the one with handle. And then there are also two head types, which is the inline and the tapered. So if you want to learn about different types of hooks, I'm going to show you a bunch of my supplies. Just proceed to this portion, and we'll talk about hook grips as well, different hook grips. Okay guys, hello again. So in this portion of the video, we're going to be talking about hook sizes and hook types. So this is my little box of happiness. Oops. So this is just a bunch of my assorted and loose crochet hooks, and I'm going to go through these hooks and show you the different types so that you can be familiar with the different hooks that are in the market, and you can decide whether or not to get that type of hook, because oops, hi neighbor, because there are some hook types that are very expensive. There are also very cheap ones, and I hope that in this video I'm going to show you why it's worth it to buy the more expensive hooks. But obviously that's completely up to you. A lot of people are also they also prefer the cheap generic hooks. I personally don't enjoy them. I've bought a set before. I did not enjoy them. They're just stashed away in my closet somewhere. I had a hard time pulling my hook through. I had a hard time using it. I have not touched it since trying it out, so I just feel like that was a waste of my 300 pesos or $6, which is cheap if you think about it, compared to a $6 hook. Like, let's say this one hook, $6, versus a full set for $6. You would think that the full set's worth it, but no, I don't think so. So I hope that in this video I get to teach you as well how to choose the proper hooks for you, and for you to be familiar with the terminology used in hooks. So first and foremost, there are two types of hooks. So you have ones that are just plain and simple, like this. So this is a plain aluminum hook. Hold on. Oh no, it's not focusing. This is a plain aluminum hook. So it's just basic crochet hook. out of focus is really bad. So this is just a basic crochet hook. This is a Pony brand colored aluminum hook. So very lightweight. I enjoy using it. But it does give a little stress on your hands if you're using it too often, which is why we also have a different kind, which is the one that have handles. So this one just ensures that you have something thicker to hold on, kind of like a pen or pencil size. So these are the two types of hook grips that you could have. Now there are also two types of hook heads, and I'm going to show you on a bigger hook so that you can see. There is the tapered hook. So here it is. I'll zoom you in so you can see it clearer. So this is a tapered hook. And then we also have an inline hook. So from the side, it kind of just looks similar, right? But the inline hook comes with a wider, the opening of it is straight, so it matches the body, whereas the tapered is tapered. You can see that there's a shape here on the side. And the shaft is more circular than anything. This one is circular as well, but it is flatter, if you notice. So this is inline because the sides are inline, and this is tapered because the sides are tapered. What? So those are the two hook types. These are big hooks. So just so you can see easier, but there are also inline hooks that are for smaller hooks like 2mm up to 6mm. But these are just an example of the two hook types. Now we're going to talk about the hook grips. So earlier I showed you guys this. This is just a basic pony plastic handle crochet hook. So it's just literally a hook with a plastic handle, just for like an extra grip. Super basic. But they're also more fancy, I guess you could call it, fancier. Oh no, fancier grips. So there's also the easy grip. So this is the same hook. Sorry, the focus is really bad. So this is basically the same hook, but you have a rubberized grip on the body. So it's not entirely rubber that it's bendable. It's firm on the inside, but there's a rubber coating. So this is different hook grip. And then Pony just recently came out with a new type of easy grip. So this is the same as this one, but it's great for those who hold their hooks in a pen grip because there's a flat for you to place your finger on while you're crocheting. So it's flat on both sides. See, flat here, flat there. So this is a different type of handle as well. And then we have these big ergonomic handles. So I personally find that this is a little more stressful for my hand because it's top heavy. It's heavy on the top. It's great also for like a pen grip. Easy to pull through, especially I think if you're having carpal tunnel or arthritis on your hands. This is a great hook for you to hold because there's not as much space for you when you're gripping your hook because it rests comfortably on the top. See, it rests comfortably here, and you can also do a knife grip with it. It fits nicely because it's a thicker barrel, but to each his own. Some people find this comfortable, some people would take more time to get used to it, understandably, because it is quite a different hook type handle than normal. And then we also have this, which is a bamboo handle. It's similar to this but with a longer shaft. I personally really like using this because of the longer shaft, because I take long strides when I'm crocheting, so the real estate over here is really good for me when I'm crocheting. The longer length of the hook, where I can actually glide my yarn over, is really helpful. So in terms of which is the best, I think so far, based off of what is currently available in the market, the Pony Easy Flat is the one that sells best because of the flat grip that is similar to Japanese hooks that are in the market. So some of the Japanese hooks that I own include, I'll just show you them for comparison. I have the Tulip. Oh no, out of focus, work with me. I have the Tulip, Etimo Rose. So you can see that they both have like a flat space for your thumb to rest. It's like a thumb rest. So that's one. And then we also have the Clover. And these are really inexpensive Daiso hooks. So all four of these hooks have that flat finger, and I think that's what makes this one of the best selling ones, because people find it to be similar in shape and size to these two. The Daiso hooks are also similar to the Clover hooks because of their shape. So the Clover is flat on top but a little triangular at the bottom. I can't really show you guys clearly, but it kind of scoops under, so it's kind of shaped like a boat. Whereas the Tulip one is kind of flat at the bottom, so this is flatter than this one. So it just really depends on what's comfortable with your hand, and obviously it's not very economical to test out and have all of these, especially if you're just starting. So I would suggest starting off with quality hooks already before foraying into trendy ones. So if you could find someone selling hooks with the handle grip with a flat, that's great. There are a lot of hooks that have the same size and grip as these three hooks. The Daiso ones are pretty inexpensive as well, so if you can find these in your local Daiso, I would highly suggest it. Here in the Philippines, they go for around 88, I think. Sometimes they go for 44 if they're on sale. I'm not sure about in other countries how much you could buy them for, but here that's the current rate that they go for, and I really like them. I just don't use them as much because the head is shorter than normal hooks. So if you can see, super short. I have a hard time, but they're great for beginners, especially if you're on a budget or if you're starting out and you're not sure what hooks to invest in. These are great. If you're going into updating your toolkit, you can also opt for the Tulip or the Clover ones. They're both great for me. I like the glide on the Tulip hooks compared to but I feel like they're both just great in my kit. I use them both for different purposes, and that's why I have so much hooks. It's because depending on what project I'm doing, I use a different hook. So let's say I'm using amigurumi. For the same yarn, I would use a Clover 4.0 for amigurumi, but I'd use the Pony for like small motifs. And if I want to make scarves, I use the Tulip because I feel like my stitches and my grip varies between the three hooks. So it's just really based off personal preference. I really cannot say which ones would fit you because some people prefer Tulip over Clover, some people prefer Clover over Tulip, some people are alright with Pony hooks, some people prefer the ones with no grip. So it's up to you to discover what's comfortable for you and what's not. If you have friends that crochet, it would be great if you could get their input as well, or if you could borrow some of their hooks for you to try out, that's also great. But in terms of discussing the hook sizes, the hook types, it's really each to his own. Now, another thing I want to address is the hook sizes. So over here I have the perfect example for this is the Hamanaka set. So I'm just gonna zoom you guys in so you can see the sizes clearer. But there are different sizings for crochet hooks as well. So here in the tulip, you can see on the barrel that it says 7/0 and 4mm. So a lot of people, when they read 7/0, they automatically think 7mm because a lot of sellers are selling hooks in the metric system. But the sizing with the /0 or 7-0 is actually Japanese sizing. So a 7/0 is a 4mm hook, and a 7/0 is not a 7mm hook. Because if you would notice, I would show you the difference. This is a 7/0 and this is a 7mm. So you can see it's very different. You'd get surprised when you order and you mention the wrong size. So please be aware of what a 7mm is and what a 7/0 is, and be careful with your sizing. Another confusing sizing system is with the steel hooks. I don't have them on me right now. Oh, I have one. These are steel hooks. So this is a Pony 1.75, and in steel hook size, that's a size 0, just a 0, not an mm, not a 0/0, but just a 0. So steel hooks come in sizes, I think 0 to 22. So you can see these are really small. You use these with size 0 or size 1 hooks, lace yarns for doilies and the like. So if you were to buy let's say a 7/0 is different from a 7mm and a 7 steel. So please be careful, be aware of your hook sizes, and try to learn about the hook sizes as well, or ask your seller, ask your crochet friends what hook they're using, because most of the time people just say I use a hook size 7, but they really mean a 7/0, not a 7mm or a 7 steel. So please be careful. There are very different metric systems. There's a US metric, there's the US sizing, which is the letter sizing. That's not that common here in the Philippines. And there's also the Japanese sizing as well as the steel sizing. So just for everyone's information, please be aware of the hook that you're using, just so also it's easier for you to purchase more hooks if you need to size up or size down. So that's it for this video. I hope that you're able to learn a lot from this session, and I'm just gonna show you guys everything that we've talked about today. So I hope that this helps you improve in your crochet journey, and I hope that you get to learn more and do your own improvements through this video. And I hope as well that your stash continually grows as you improve in your craft. We'll see you in the next video. If you have any comments, suggestions, requests, you can leave them in the description box in the comment below. You can also check our socials to see our updates, different products that we have, and to get updates on our new videos as well. Bye!